updated commercial van range. The team at Northern Peugeot Bundura can help customise your fleet to your business needs. Stock arriving now, so secure your van and beat the rush before the end of financial year madness. Visit northernpeugeot.com.au or call 9119 9008. T&Cs apply.
Are you looking to change your destiny in life? Be your own boss? Start your own business? If you are, you need people who understand your needs and are committed to helping you make it happen. At DKP & Co Chartered Accountants, we are more than just accountants. We are business advisors, taxation consultants, and strategists that specialise in setting up businesses. We understand the client and give them the very best customised advice and strategies to achieve their goals. Visit our website, dkpco.com.au, or give us a call today on 03 9023 9370. Fast, proactive, personal. That's DKP & Co Chartered Accountants.
Pickett, she lays it off. Teresa Polias. It's an absolute peach. Ayres driving. What a hit from Melina Ayres. Wow. And Sam Kerr has a hat-trick.
And welcome back to another edition of Radio Dub. And yet again, I'm by myself. Like, I think that I might need to take a hard look at myself and see if maybe I've done something wrong. To Oscar and Lachie, I am Pokuah Frimpong, so thank you for joining me on another edition of Radio Dub. But you know what? Lachie and Oscar will be joining us later on in the show. But in the meantime, I have the pleasure of talking to one of the best young defenders from New Zealand, Mackenzie Barry. Mackenzie, how are you? And thank you for joining me on the show.
Hi, thanks for those kind words. Yeah, I'm great. Just finished training for the day and we are off to Sydney and then Newcastle tomorrow. So, yeah, busy, excited, and, 3 more games. So, feeling good.
No, that's good to hear. See, I've got to ask, Mackenzie, now, if you happen to spend time in Australia, the extended amount of time in Australia that you did, are you sick and tired of Australia? Are you done? I don't want to get back on a plane to Australia. I want to just stay in New Zealand.
No, I love it. I love coming over to play. Well, no. I actually enjoyed living over there for those 6 months last season. Yeah, I liked it. I think, it's awesome to be playing football, like professionally, and can't complain at all. Yeah, loving it.
No, you can't complain, but also, wouldn't it, you miss, obviously you miss home, but what's the thing that, obviously people, you miss family and stuff like that, but what's that weird thing that you missed while you were stuck in Australia?
Probably the Kiwi foods, the Whittaker's chocolate.
Wait, what's that? No, you got to explain what that is. I've never heard of that. What is that?
Oh, wow. So Whittaker's is a New Zealand chocolate brand, and it's just the best chocolate that I've ever had, and everyone loves it here. And in Australia, you have one flavour. And it's super expensive. But in New Zealand, we have shelves of it in the supermarket, and it's just the best. So probably that, or Pix peanut butter.
Yeah,
just a peanut butter brand, which is just so good.
See,
maybe the food, yeah.
Yeah, no, see, I'm getting this theme, and I really support this because Radio Dub is sort of a food safari show, so I really appreciate these food recommendations, and
cool.
I'll be trying. I want to try some of these because I've never heard of any of these things, and I'm not a massive chocolate fan, so I need to get more involved in the chocolate space. But Mackenzie, this is the thing that people don't realise about me. Okay, so I have a New Zealand passport, right? I've never been to New Zealand though, but I have a New Zealand passport. What are the things that I need to know about New Zealand to call myself a Kiwi?
That's so hard. Well, I guess you need to come and experience it for yourself.
North or South Island? What's the North or South Island? Where am I going?
I'm biased. I've always lived in the North Island.
Okay.
But if you're into skiing, South Island in the winter is amazing.
Okay.
But North Island. I'm from Taranaki, which is on the west coast of the North Island, and it's black sand beaches, a great mountain. Yeah, it's very a lot of nature in New Zealand. It's lovely.
Okay.
So if you're into like hiking or swimming, then there you
Mackenzie,
go.
stop right there. I cannot stand the beach and I can't swim.
Oh, no.
So what you've listed, everything you've listed, I can't even get involved in. But it does sound like I like hiking. I don't hike very often, if ever, but I do like the idea of hiking. So I can get involved in that, but I couldn't get involved in the beach stuff. Like, what is that? Like, why is there sand everywhere? You know what I mean?
I see where you're coming from. Some people, fair enough.
So I've never skied either, so I don't know if any of the islands work for me. But, I feel like I could try skiing. I feel like I could try it.
Definitely. There's like beginner slopes, so you'll be right.
Yeah, exactly. If I fall, it doesn't matter. The camera, if nobody catches it, I didn't really fall.
Exactly.
Now, being this season, obviously, for the first two seasons of Wellington have been, I'm assuming, would have been difficult in terms of obviously not getting as many wins as you would have liked, but being a lot about growth and development. How was that been like for you as a footballer, and how do you guys keep the morale up when the wins aren't coming, but you see that you're improving?
I think for us, as we do see ourselves as a development team, I think our goals aren't necessarily to be, top of the league. It's more progressing every game. So when you feel like you're getting better and achieving the realistic goals you set, I think everyone still feels motivated to be better. And I think our team environment is just so positive and enthusiastic, and everyone's super motivated all the time. And I love coming to train with all the girls here. So, I feel like the atmosphere really helps in what specific goals we have that drive us. Obviously, we want to try and win games, and, we've won a few, but, focusing on more development is a better way to be more successful, I'd say.
No, for sure. Is it like when you've got those objectives at the start of the season and you're trying to, and there are outside noise about the team, and you guys have got your set objectives, is it does it make it easier to ignore it, or do you still kind of hear it and is it frustrating?
It can be hard hearing what other people have to say, but at the end of the day, they don't know what we're about, and they haven't trained in this area. So you've just got to stay focused and almost just tunnel vision and drown that noise out, especially if it's negative.
No, absolutely. Now, yes, you guys haven't won lots of games, but I've experienced a losing season where we won one game, and I remember after we won that game, it was the greatest moment of my life. Does it make the wins when you guys the wins so much sweeter, because it's that hard work is really paying off? And not that the wins are the be all and end all, but does it make the celebrations, the music playing louder? Is everybody's super hyped?
Yeah, definitely. I think when we do get a win here and there, it's sort of all those weeks of drawing or results not going our way have still helped us and contributed. So the tough times have been building up to this moment. So it's it feels so good, and everyone's super excited. It's so funny after when we win, everyone's super happy. So hopefully we've got 3 games to go. So hopefully we're going to get better results. Definitely way more. Definitely a lot more sweeter.
I like that. I like that because I know the music is a really big, lifts the mood. What is the song choice when things are when the vibes are right at Wellington Phoenix? What is the music choice, and who's also in control of the music? This is what I want to understand.
It changes a bit, but usually Kate Taylor.
Okay.
She has this huge speaker.
Nice.
One of those big ones that stand up by themselves, and like have lights and everything.
Oh, nice. Oh, this is fantastic.
So
Is it got like a mic as well? Like we're doing karaoke as well?
It can, yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. But the mic doesn't usually come to the changing room, but the speaker does, and it's great. And yeah, just sort of pump up music. Or Chloe Knott loves to sing along.
Okay.
She's so funny. Any song she'll sing to, and she's not a good singer.
This is okay. What's the if you're doing like if you get to pick the song, what song are you picking?
Yeah.
And also, what is your karaoke song?
For pre-games, anything like Megan Thee Stallion.
Oh,
Or
great,
like
Mackenzie.
Minaj. Like,
I have not had that answer on Radio Dub ever. Like I've got like Beyonce a couple times. Love. But Meg Thee Stallion, what a pick. Yeah, I did not expect that. Sensational.
Well, I'm just being honest. Yeah.
No, I love it.
Probably not the best on
It's
radio,
fantastic.
but yeah,
It's fantastic.
So good.
Don't let anybody tell you anything negative about Meg Thee Stallion, okay? It's fantastic.
Yeah. And then karaoke song, maybe a bit of Miley Cyrus because everyone can get up to her. So
no,
love her.
I like that. What's the?
Yeah.
Are we going for The Climb, or are we going like old school back to Hannah Montana days, or are we going some of her new stuff like Flowers, which just came out?
I love Flowers.
I really like that song too. What are we doing?
Probably like the like The Climb or Party in the USA is always like good, get everyone going, or like the more recent stuff.
Yeah.
I am listening to her new album at the moment, and Flowers is a great song.
Yeah, no, that's it. I've probably played that song way too many times because like you hear it the first time and you're like, oh, that's really good, and then all of a sudden you've hit repeat 3 times over, and you're like, where's the time gone? But I've had such a great time.
Yeah, it's good.
Something that's really impressed me about Wellington this season is the defense, which obviously you're a key part of, but the defensive, like the solidity, what's the words that I'm looking for? You guys have been so solid at the back. Obviously, we've spoken about the wins and losses. That's not really the point, but the defense has always seemed so like compact and understands its role. And how have you guys taken that step to be so good defensively this year, even if things haven't, always worked out?
Yeah, I think our starting back four, I think just keeping it consistent throughout the season has been really helpful. And like I've been training with these girls, like I've known Marisa since I was like 15 years old, and I've been playing with Kate like for 4 years or so now as well. So I think just like knowing your players and knowing like, their strengths and what they're good at, and we just work really well together. I think it's just like how the unit talks and shifts, and like we back each other 1v1, and I think the belief that we have in each other is great. And I think being close and being able to like push each other just really helps. And individually everyone's great too. We all understand the roles, and that just pushes each other more, and we've been improving as well throughout the season, so that's been really good.
No, I can imagine it. I want to ask in terms, obviously you've got a new coach this year with Nat Lawrence, but how has she helped you in terms of like obviously when you're a young team and you get a new coach, how has she laid her like what's the words that I'm looking for? How does she laid her like signature and made this team into a new team? Because obviously you guys lost players at the end of last season. But how has she made this team brand new and exciting and made you guys really pumped up to play football?
I think like Nat definitely brings something different just based on her like personality and her style of coaching. She's like super enthusiastic, and she's like good friends with all of us really. Like we can all confide in her and talk to her one-on-one, and she can definitely push us as well. And I think she definitely has a different style of coaching to Gemma, and which I think has been working for us this season. I just getting along with the players and her communication pretty much is probably her strengths.
So we like that. Now who in training is getting in trouble the most? Like who's just a little bit too calm sometimes about training, just a little bit cool for school? Who's that vibe?
I'm gonna say, Betsy Hassett.
Oh God, that's
she's so chill.
I like that.
Yeah,
really.
That's who she is, though. Yeah,
okay.
She'll rock up to training like not wearing the right stuff, or sometimes I don't think she's being late, but she's always like she's never early. You know,
she's never early. I
like,
like that.
No,
so some people are just they're not late, but they're just never early. Like they'll get there, and you're just a bit like. You definitely could have arrived 5 minutes earlier, but I understand what you're doing.
But when she's like on and focused, like when training's on, she's on. But like outside of training, she's so funny. Yeah, a bit ditzy, that girl.
You guys seem to have speaking to you, you guys seem to have such a really calm and really super relaxed group. Do you think it helps that you guys are the only team in New Zealand and you guys aren't like in Australia?
Yeah, I think being able to like live at home and be in a place that we know has definitely allowed us to just chill out a bit. Whereas when we were living in Australia, it kind of just felt like we were in a training camp for 6 months, which was quite tough on some girls. It's way more chill and people were able to travel home sometimes if they live only a few hours away. So, yeah, definitely the outside of football lifestyle is a lot better this year, and I think it's reflecting on the field, which is good.
No, that is really, really good, and I want to talk. Actually, I want to just take a little pivot and talk about the Football Ferns, and obviously you've had your call ups and you've played Fulham. How was that? What was when you got the? Is it a call or a text? Like, how does it? You find out actually that you're going to play for the Nationals. How does that work?
Well, usually you get a call, but the first time I got called up, for some reason, Yitka didn't have time to get in contact with me. And I literally just got the email list because you just get the generic list that comes out, every few months. And my name was on it. And I literally was like, oh, yeah, so funny.
Did you think in your head that they've made a mistake? Or not that they've made a mistake, but did you think they haven't called me, but I've got this email? Something doesn't add up here.
Took me a second to digest the news, I think. And I was sitting next to my flatmate and I was just freaking out. She was like, "What's wrong?" And I was like, "No, it's good." And I told her what happened. And then the next day, Yitka called me and she likes to do video calls.
Okay.
So she likes to see our reactions and usually it's a call, and she catches up prior to the list coming out, which on my second tour, she did call me beforehand to say, "Well done, you're coming again." So, it's been super exciting.
See, this is a FaceTime. That's so that's so freaky to me. I would be wait, I'm really, really excited, but also I just woke up. So what is going through your mind when you see the FaceTime, the first time you see the FaceTime on, or do you already know that that's what they like to do?
It depends. Sometimes it's very one way or the other. It's either good news or real bad news when she's calling you, and it's But the other day she FaceTimed me. And she'd just been out on a bike ride and she was sweating. So it was so funny. But usually she's pretty chill and likes to just check in and see what's going on. But I get a bit nervous when she's like, "I'm about to call you." It's you have to be.
Oh, does she give you a warning before?
Sometimes.
Oh God, no.
Or sometimes she'll tell you "Can I call?" And then, this is what happened the other day. She's like, "Can I call you?" And then 2 minutes later, I was like, "Yep." And then about 45 minutes goes by and she still hadn't called, and I was sitting by my phone super nervous.
I don't like that at all.
And then she called. Yeah.
That would not work for me at all. You freak out. You just be sitting there just looking at your phone going, what is happening right now? Please just call me or I'm about to start calling you.
That's what I was thinking. I was about to send her a double text when I thought maybe that was a inappropriate.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was like,
I don't know. I feel like, call me, please. I really want you to call me back. But what's been like the biggest surprise about going into like the national team and I'm assuming, because obviously the Wellington Phoenix, you guys seem to have such a great relationship as a group, but how has it been like going to the national team? Have they all welcomed you? Was it daunting? What was that like?
Yeah, everyone was super welcoming when I first arrived, but of course I still felt really anxious about it because it's like a big deal, I suppose. And some of those girls have been in that team for like 10, 15 years, like it was crazy. But then also knowing a lot of the Phoenix girls when I was coming in, like Betsy, who'd been in the environment for so long, already knowing that she was there was really nice. But no, everyone's like super lovely and always happy to listen to like any sort of feedback or ideas you have. Really cool. Very different from the Phoenix in the fact it's just a bit more high pressure, which is understandable. It's a national team. The standards at training are very high, and there are a lot of meetings, very long meetings.
The way you said that, Mackenzie, about the way you said that about meetings, I know there's a story about meetings that you're not a massive fan of them. Are you sitting at the back or are you sitting at the front of the meeting? Like, are you like secretly on your phone? You don't have to snitch on yourself. But what's the
so much trouble?
What are you doing?
No, I'm a good student as much as I'd like to say. I like learning and I like to be there, but sometimes it's like when it's like 10 p.m. at night and you want to be asleep. That's the only time, like when you're getting tired, it's like, come on, let's wrap this up. But you get used to it. It's just different to the Phoenix. We just have real quick 5-minute meetings, whereas with the Ferns, it's more like half an hour or to an hour, depending on what we're chatting about. But it's just because there's a lot more to learn at the higher level. Yeah.
Do you reckon do you reckon I would get, if I was in a meeting, do you reckon I would get away with like putting the sunglasses on but like taking a temporary nap? Do you reckon you get away with that?
No, because you can ask questions to people that don't look like they're paying attention.
We don't like
so
this.
Annoying.
That's awful. Like fantastic.
Yeah, you
obviously
have to be,
great.
Like, really good.
This is why I could never be a professional athlete. This is why I could.
And it's super embarrassing when you don't know the answer because everyone's like
everyone's looking around. Now, Mackenzie, before I let you go, I've decided for myself, I'm setting myself a new project that I want to get back into playing football. Okay. Because I haven't played football in a while now, so I need to learn some skills. So I'm thinking if I'm talking to professional footballers, I need to get some tips from them. Now, I haven't figured out what position that I'm good at. I haven't played football in a few years. What do I need to know and remember if I end up being, a really poor centre back? Well, obviously I'm going to be really good, but, I could end up being really bad. What's the things that could help me be at least good, half decent?
I think something that you can control is your mindset.
Okay.
And being a ruthless defender and going into every 50-50 challenge, like thinking I'm going to win this, actually really changes the game. Yeah. So that's something that's one of my strengths is when I go into tackles or a bobbling ball is coming along, I'm like, this is mine. And that's how I end up winning a lot of 50-50s, I think. So even if you aren't technically as good, you can definitely get your mind sharp.
Okay. I'm going to apply that. I'm going to remember this. Okay. And I will keep the Radio Dub audience up to date on how my football. I'm not going to play probably not this season because this will be late, but next year I'm ready for it. I'm just going to collect all this information and I am going to be very elite is what my ambitions are about it. But I will say, Mackenzie, I've really enjoyed speaking to you this afternoon and really appreciate, you joining us because we haven't actually had anyone from Wellington on the show before. So you are our first ever. Cool. So it's great to speak to you. And good luck with the rest of the games and good luck with everything with the Football Ferns and keep doing those really great last ditch slides that blocks. I love those. I was watching your highlights before this interview and I was like, how has she gotten there? That's awesome.
Thanks.
No, I really...
No, yeah, great to chat to you as well. Thank you.
Really appreciate it. Enjoy New Zealand. I know you didn't say it, but I know New Zealand is better than Australia in your mind, so it's okay.
I was going to say that, then I didn't. I'm like, oh no.
No, you were fine. We're going to head to a quick break here on Radio Dub, and after the break, Oscar and Lachie will join me, and then we'll talk about some football. We've also got another guest around the corner as well.
Boss, start your own business? If you are, you need people who understand your needs and are committed to helping you make it happen. At DKP & Co Chartered Accountants, we are more than just accountants. We are business advisors, taxation consultants, and strategists that specialise in setting up businesses. We understand the client and give them the very best customised advice and strategies to achieve their goals. Visit our website dkpco.com.au or give us a call today on 03 9023 9370. Fast, proactive, personal. That's DKP & Co Chartered Accountants.
With this great sporting nation who has yet to embrace fully the world's greatest game, and for so long of trying to have the game accepted. When I'm up to the big football field in the sky, I just want people just to remember I told you so.
And suddenly the complexion of the game changes. Let's hope it doesn't, but this is the best period for Iran in the match. Ali Daei, danger for Australia here, the flag's down! It's Torcaso!
You just feel for them, not just the boys, they are representative of so many people who make this game their life. It's just, I can't say anything, mate.
All right.
Especially as they have the impetus. Aloisi, Cahill, Tim Cahill has done it again! What a goal by Tim Cahill! 2-1 Australia! Oh, it's a wonderful moment in Kaiserslautern! And Tim Cahill has come off the bench and maybe won the match for the Socceroos.
You're listening to FNR, Football Nation Radio.
Professional optimised business? Time to look at Northern Peugeot Bandura to further professionalise your fleet with their updated commercial van range. The team at Northern Peugeot Bandura can help customise your fleet to your business needs. Stock arriving now, so secure your van and beat the rush before the end of financial year madness. Visit northernpeugeot.com.au or call 9119 9008. T&Cs apply.
She lays it off to Pokuah. It's an absolute peach. Is driving. What a hit from Melina Reyes. Wow.
And Sam Kerr has a hat-trick.
And if you just joined us here on Radio Dub, you're seeing two more faces that weren't here before the ad break. I had a lovely chat with Mackenzie Barry from the Wellington Phoenix, and we really appreciate you guys. Appreciate her time, but I also appreciate Lachie coming out of his cave and coming to join us.
Do you? I mean, the way you said it makes it sound like no.
Well, Lachie, we're always happy to have you here back at the FNR studios. Obviously,
it's always nice to be back.
You're moving on up like the Jeffersons, so I appreciate you coming back to us. And Oscar, thank you for travelling 55 minutes from uni to get here. On time, actually, this week.
Princess Highway is a beast at this time.
Princess Highway comes out this far?
Yeah.
Really?
Princess Highway, then Flinders Street. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, no, true story.
I really don't know Melbourne roads. I love Melbourne, but I don't know.
You live in the southeast and you're like, where does the Princess Highway go?
The reason I say that is because it starts so far in the Princess Highway, I didn't realise that it extended this far out.
It technically becomes not the Princess Highway, and it becomes like Queensway, and it changes name, but it's still the same road.
What I say is, who cares? Do you know what does matter though? The Dub, and the Dub is wrapping up, and top 4 race, some results that we're still waiting for announcements in terms of the Canberra result and how that points will work, because Western United have announced, they've made the top 4. by them all maths. I believe they're locked in. So congratulations to Western United. We will be speaking to Mark Torcaso, their head coach, just in a little bit about that. And
are they locked in top 2? I think they've locked in top 2.
Yeah, I think they have actually locked in top 2. Thank you for correcting me. Really appreciate it. How crazy is that? Thank you for correcting me.
So backhanded, but yeah, that's all right.
Thank you. How impressive is, how surprised are you on a scale of 1 to 10, Western United being in the top 2, in their first season?
Compared to how
you thought they were going to be at the start of the year? Lachie?
I'm not surprised that they did well. I'm not surprised that they have stunned a lot of teams in the competition. Those things don't shock me because I've had the privilege of watching Calder for a number of years now. I've had been fortunate enough to speak to Mark Torcaso before he was the head coach, and it was pretty clear that he was a very switched-on operator. Looking forward to talking to him soon. Am I surprised that they have sustained or remained in the top 2 after the loss of Jess McDonald and the sort of prolonged absence and then an eventual departure of Chloe Lagazo? Yeah, a little bit. I think especially in the case of City, I kind of expected that they would rise up, but they've sort of been, I think, a bit patchy, I guess, throughout the course of the season. So I'm not surprised that they've done well. I'm surprised that how well they've done has largely, other than a few blips here and there, sustained itself over the stretch of the season, I think is the surprise.
I think the real surprise came with the start of the season, the first 7 games, because over the last...
I don't agree, but... Go on.
Okay, no, fair enough. I accepted at the start of the season they had.
I mean, 6 games perfect is. Yeah,
it was 7.
That's
again.
7.
I'm just in the mood to correct people at the moment. Because really since that beginning to the season, their form has been a bit more up and down, kind of like we'd expect. Obviously, that's been covered a bit by the overturning of the result against Brisbane last week. But yeah, I think I've been pleasantly surprised by how well they have sustained. More than competitive, a really impressive level, which has consistently had them matching it with the best teams in the comp, because I didn't think really that they'd be able to certainly do it throughout the whole season.
Yeah, you know who does know a lot about how well they've sustained their ability to be in the top 4 and have gotten themselves their first ever finals berth in their first ever season in the Liberty A-League. That would be Mark Torcaso, who joins us now. Mark, congratulations, and how do you feel making it into the finals in your first season in the dub?
Yeah, can you guys hear me? I haven't got my camera on because I'm actually in the car. Is that okay?
No, that's okay. We can hear you.
Good. Yeah, it's been unbelievable, to be quite honest. It's more than obviously what I expected from our group and our club, but knew deep down inside we had a talented group that could, push for finals football. So, blown away, excited. They're probably the 2 best words I could probably describe how we've gone.
At what point did you click in your mind going, top 4 is we are going to be in the top 4? Obviously, you had the great starts to the season and then you had the dip. Did you is actually more so the question, did you have your faith ever waver that you guys were going to make top 4?
Probably last week. It was when we actually settled in. Honestly, when I was sort of put to the task to put this side together, I knew with the quality that we had in the state, and knew with the quality that we could bring in from overseas, that we could get ourselves off to a really good start. And that was the plan, is to just get the team off to a fantastic start, to then hopefully give ourselves a chance to play finals football. So that was the goal, first and foremost, is to build a good squad that could make us sort of get to a point of where we are now, that we could be competitive towards the back end of the year. And it actually sort of worked out the way that I had planned, and the club had planned, is be competitive at the start, be successful, and then hopefully that sets the foundations up for the back end of the year. And yeah, I guess here we are now.
Well, Mark, you talk about those foundations and the international players you knew you were a chance of bringing in being high quality. And I think there were maybe a lot of people who were expecting that when, Jess McDonald and Chloe Lagazo eventually departed, that would be the end of this Western United side as we know it. But it feels like what they've brought to the team off the pitch has lingered with your playing squad. What sort of a mark have they left and continue to leave on the group going into the end of the season?
Yeah, I mean, like I sort of touched on it, the aim was to bring in these good quality players to help set standards and quality of training and I guess create a really good environment for us. So there's no doubt that people like Jess and Chloe have really set a tone of professionalism and, training standards and values and all that type of stuff that have helped us obviously get to the point where we are now. But also once they sort of left that little bit of, this is how you do it. There's no doubt that those two were very big for us, very big for me personally. I had a really good friendship and relationship with Jess Mack before she came over to us. So for her to come over and I guess help me build this squad from the start of the season was very special. So who knows, we might see her back one day.
Fingers crossed, I think, speaking from our perspective. We've talked about your maybe surprise or pleasant surprise at, how far you guys have cleared expectations this season. Does that translate for some of the players as well, like individual performances in your side? Some of the people in your squad surprised with how well they've settled into the Liberty A-League this season? Because a lot of people were saying, it's a big jump, but a lot of those players who are, it would have been a couple of rounds into a Calder United NPLW season this time a year ago have looked not out of place at all.
Yeah, I think that was the important thing for obviously our third Melbourne team coming into the A-League was, there was a genuine push that there was good quality players here in Victoria. So I never ever doubted that, having played in this league, coached in this league for a very long time. I've always seen the talent, and I knew that there was enough talent here to have another side. So, it's not a big surprise for me to see some of these players adjust and I guess, look comfortable. And I don't think it's a big surprise for them. I think the good thing is that they've been able to actually see that they're good enough to be at this level and show, I guess, the nation that, some of them are actually good enough to even be in national teams and things like that. So I never sort of doubted that the jump wouldn't be, it was hard. Don't get me wrong, it would be hard for them, but it was also, I think the transition for them was good because we sort of set Calder up in a way where it was professional and we try to create that atmosphere so the transition would be easier.
And Mark, I guess then jumping off that onto more of a personal level for you as a coach, taking that step back into the A-League circles and now as a head coach, has that transition for you, I guess, been as you expected? Has it been more challenging or even easier than you thought it would be from a coaching perspective?
Oscar, he can't say it was easy. He doesn't want to brag like that, but we know that's what he knows. He wants to say that.
This is a breeze. What was everyone talking about?
Exactly.
I think the simple part for me was making sure that you had really good people around you that would make the transition for me as a coach a lot easier. Obviously, there's more resources at A-League level, so you've got access to a lot more staff and a lot more people to do certain things at NPL level that you'd probably almost do all yourself. So, getting the right people around was very important for my transition in that. So it almost, leaves me to sit back and be able to manage the side while I've got the people around the staff that can actually, coach and do the analyst stuff and, goalkeeping stuff. So it allows me to actually manage and oversee the team and be able to actually watch training properly without having to, take the whole session. So that's been the new sort of, thing for me that's been different. Because obviously, Calder, you're doing everything. You're on the track. You're doing the analysing. You're sometimes doing the goalkeeping job as well. And I guess from this perspective, it's been good because I've been able to sort of sit back and actually manage and coach from a different perspective.
Does having that overseeing role, is that more enjoyable from your perspective as a coach as opposed to kind of having your hands on every single little bit of the team?
It is, because you get to sort of, see it all. Like, sometimes, obviously, coaching at NPL level, it's challenging because you got to do everything. Like, you literally got your hands on it. Sometimes you're even doing team management roles. So it's hard from that perspective because you have that, I guess, that little bit of a luxury at this level, and you can, you got people to bounce ideas off. You got more staff to sort of use as a resource and talk to them about things, where sometimes it gets a little bit lonely as an NPL coach because you're sometimes by yourself and you've maybe just got an assistant if clubs are lucky to have that. From that perspective, it's enjoyable also. It's definitely enjoyable.
Talking about the people you've got around you, Mark, I want to ask about Helen Winterburn, because it wasn't that long ago that for whatever reason you decided you didn't fancy the away trip, and you left her in charge of the side, and she got all 3 points.
Yeah, and we haven't won a game since then, by the way. So maybe someone's telling me something, but no. Helen was our first target as a staff member. It was my first target to say, she's probably the best female coach in the state. I think she's the best female coach in the state, if not even the country, from that perspective. Tactically is one of a kind. So, I wanted to bring in the right person to help our club be the best that we can. And that's just, I guess, the way that I sort of operate. I want to try and get the best people around me to help support our group and our players. And in this case, obviously our club. So, targeting Helen and getting the coach of the year of the NPL was our first goal and my first goal. She's been excellent. Like, she's been absolutely amazing. Even for herself, I know that, this is a great learning experience for her. And, one day I think she's going to be a fantastic head coach somewhere, if not at Western or down the track. But, definitely a big part of why we are successful.
Now, Mark, obviously the season is not over, and there are, you've got finals coming up and things like that. But are you able to to reflect on this season? Is there a standout moment for you where you were like, the moment where you felt that you guys belonged, or you felt that you'd achieved something? Or is there like a standout moment that this season is really, it sticks with you?
Yeah, that's interesting. It's gonna sound really odd, but we played our very, very first practice game against Melbourne Victory and Melbourne City in the preseason. And it was probably at that point that I started to think to myself, hang on a sec, like, we are actually here and we're actually having a crack at this. And the reason why they were important for me is because we played Victory in Ballarat in a practice game in our first hit out, and we bet them 1-0. And then we played Melbourne City in Casey in another practice game, and we bet them 3-1. And at that point, I started to think, hang on a sec, we've played two of the stronger sides in the league. Maybe we are, good enough, and we are the real deal. It was literally that point that I thought we shouldn't worry about anyone, and we shouldn't be in a position where we should let any team we should fear any team. So, we then obviously come up against Victory in round one and do exactly what we did in the practice game and bet them 1-0 late on as well. And again, those 3 or 4 weeks were the ones that were, for me, were like, we belong here, and every player that has been part of that has deserved being part of that little journey. So they were the parts for me. And then obviously now, in the last few weeks, actually realising that we can't finish any lower than second on the ladder, and thinking in our first season we're playing in a final series potentially, with a double chance. So that's pretty special, to be honest.
That must be nice. You know what also must be nice, you two, and must be nice for you, Mark, is that you keep winning Coach of the Month. And I want to understand, Mark, is there a secret behind, because obviously it is a fan vote, do you have, how are you getting these? Obviously, I'm not saying you don't deserve them. I'm not saying that you don't deserve the mug. I'm just saying.
Can I offer a theory?
You keep getting the votes.
Can I offer a theory, Mark, before you answer the question?
I think you're onto something.
Because the other thing I've noticed is that the Coach of the Month and the Player of the Month in that competition tend to go hand in hand.
What's going on?
Are you going to be sending a thank you note to the Beale family potentially for sending the voting block your way?
No, this is not a secret, so I don't know if anyone knows, but I work at at a football school. I work at a school as well during the day as my full-time job. And it's a school of 2,700 students, and I've got 400 students that are in my football program at that school. And while that's obviously helping me in my focus, it's obviously also very important to acknowledge that, you know, the work that's done to get the nomination in the first place in regards to all the staff that do the job that they do. So it's not something that I just acknowledge as something that I've done. It's something that's very important for me because it shows us as a whole group and as a whole staff and as a whole team and a club, I guess, that we're doing the right things. They're just, you know, little accolades, I guess, that you put on a trophy cabinet and go, you won something. But I look at everyone doing their job and helping that cause. But I could definitely say that working in a school of 2,000 kids probably helps the votes.
No, you know what, Mark, though? I think that you are playing the game as the game should be played, okay? I think that everybody else, if you want Coach of the Month, obviously you got to do the hard work before. But this is the way we can get more fans, okay? If you're going to be a teacher, first 15 minutes should be dedicating to voting for Coach of the Month. I think, and voting for play. If you want an A+ in the class, you best be voting.
At the start of every training session, all right, who's entered their votes?
Exactly.
Yeah, all right, fantastic.
If you haven't entered, get out the class.
The best part was one of the sessions. We had a football session and we do a theory base with all their laptops open. And I walked into the classroom and one of the students said, "Sir, the voting's not working at the moment. You need to ring Keep Up to get them to get the voting back." And I said, "Relax, like it's not a big deal." But yeah, they couldn't log their votes in for an hour, and they were all stressing. So. I definitely credit them to helping me out with those votes.
No, we love it, and we love more fan engagement with the A-League in any way it comes. I love it.
The Torcaso report card includes like a whole section about, you know, participation in voting.
Exactly.
Just brackets.
Well, I do want to drill down on the other half of those monthly votes. I mentioned it before because Hilary Beale is also the proud owner of back-to-back Player of the Month. Now, I know that her family are pretty active,
as they should be,
on Twitter, and I'm sure they will rally the troops, not quite to the same level as your beloved students, Mark, but I'm sure they're doing a solid job as well. But I mean, how impressed have you been with Hilary this season? Because I mean, she's been, if you're going purely off the accolade, she's been the standout keeper in the competition.
Yeah, Hilary was a target for me straight away as well, because I knew the quality she had, and obviously everyone can see now how important she is to our side, but even just to our league. You know, she's a fantastic presence, and you know, she's a huge advocate for what we're doing here in Australia as well. I know she speaks very highly of our league and how it's obviously helping her in her career, but also how it can help others. And she's been great for us, like I said, both on and off the pitch. I know she speaks, you know, to friends back at home and that play for other NWSL clubs and says, you know, get yourself down here. It's a fantastic league to help sort of propel careers and things like that. So she's not only doing the stuff on the park, she's also doing the stuff off the park for our league, our country, and in particular, obviously, our team. But I think she's well deserving of the couple of goalkeeper of the month or player of the month, and I do hope she wins the player of the year. It's you know, she might be up there for those votes too. But there's no doubt she's been amazing for us, and she'll continue being amazing for us. And I'm hoping to try and sign her for another 10 years if possible, but I don't know if that'd be possible.
And as we talk, I mean, something that becomes increasingly apparent, the amount of times where, whether it's Pokuah asking a question, Oscar, myself, the amount of times we talk about, a player having this impact, a player having this impact, this player's hit the ground running. What is your secret, Mark? Because I look over the squad that you've assembled this year, and yes, some of them have departed, some of them we knew about. Obviously, Chloe and Jess had, you know, pretty stunning CVs before they entered the club. But what is your secret? Because the squad that you arguably haven't picked a bad play. You've nailed just about everyone. How do you do it?
In all honesty, like the very first thing when we look at a player, even, you know, back at Colden, it sounds crazy, but even when I coached like an under 16 team, you know, back when I first started, it was very important for me to make sure that the players respected what our, I guess, goal was as a team. And then you have the conversation and you start building a rapport and a relationship, and then you work out, this is the person that fits for me in regards to what I want to do. And that's what I almost did with every single play. It wasn't a phone call, pick it up, we want to sign you, ring the club, organise your contract. It was lots of conversations before we even got to that point of, hey, I want to sign you. So it was very important for me to identify the personnel that I knew would fit in the environment that I wanted. And then buy in, really just buy into, it's an opportunity, enjoy the opportunity, because it's fulfilling. And one day you can look back and say, hey, I did this, regardless if it's NPL level, regardless if it's winning a Nike FC Cup, or playing in the A-League now. Remember what you're doing and be proud of what you're doing, and be able to one day to tell your family that you were part of something special. And that's sort of the messages that I give these players, and give them power to enjoy what they do. And I like to, sometimes players think it's a little bit too much, but I like to make sure that players are always happy and, be able to come and talk to me about, their football, and, if there's issues, to come and talk to me about it, and we can fix it straight away rather than let things sort of, dwindle and become an issue. So I think just being transparent with the players, getting them to buy into the way you want to play and how you feel as a coach and the environment you want to set. It's no one individual secret. It's literally, enjoying it together, buying into what we want, and being really sort of picky with the type of player that you want, so it's going to fit your environment.
Now, Mark, I know you say that there's no one individual kind of secret to the success of your players. I do want to put to you an alternative theory, I guess pinpointing a different player as an example. Now, Hannah Keane's been an extraordinary player this season, and I'm sure you've been spoken to almost ad nauseum about how good she's been. Now, she was good at the start of the season, but there was some point around the start of January, the middle of January.
What are you about to say, Oscar?
Where Hannah Keane made an appearance on a particular program that may also go by the name of Radio Dub. And look, I'm guessing, Mark.
Hey, Oscar, where can you find that podcast?
You get on all your favourite podcast platforms, all of them.
I have nothing to do with this. I want no part.
I'm guessing, Mark, that there was some point in that mid-January period where Hannah just rocked up to training one day with a spring in her step, and since that time she's just elevated herself to a new level. I'm imagining that's your experience as the coach.
Was that a certain conversation with you, Pokuah?
No, that wasn't me, Mark.
Are you claiming that?
There was nothing to do with me. But I will say, Mark, we've had lots of Western United players on this podcast. I just want to say, even before the season started, okay, Mark, and we've been massive supporters, and you guys have done an incredible job. I will say that Hannah, I personally really appreciate Hannah Keane lots, because my fantasy team for a long period of time was dominant because of her gameplay. Did you have her in your fantasy team, Mark, or did you not get involved in fantasy at all?
No, I didn't get involved in fantasy at all, because then it would just confuse me even more when I've got to pick sides on the weekend and stuff. So yeah, no, definitely not. But Hannah Keane is a special individual. She's special in every way, mate. She's a different human. She's got the best heart. She can definitely play football very well, and she really genuinely cares about the game, and again, the progress of the game in our country. She wanted to come back here and help our game get better, and again, another first target. I'd seen her play here many years ago, stayed in contact with her, and I actually did say this to her maybe 3 years ago. I said, when I'm coaching an A-League team, because I was adamant that I was going to. I said, you will come back and play for me. And she promised me then that she would as well. So, that was a fantastic opportunity for her to come here, and she's definitely a special one. And any of you can claim that she's performing because of you guys, no problems. I'll take that. If you want to have a conversation with her over the next few days as well, get her to score a few more goals over the next few weeks, I'm happy with that.
Every member of the squad will come on just every day of the week.
Positive vibes.
No, exactly. No, I mean, on a more serious note, I think that speaking to Hannah really did reinforce the point that you've made tonight, Mark, about how important it is to get the right kinds of people, because you can tell what a wonderful human she is, both kind of outside of football, but also in a football sense, and wanting to build the project here in Australia.
Yeah, definitely. Like she brings her non-vegan meals to away games and all these vegan meals. Like she's just, she's a special one. But love having her here, and I'm just proud of her that she's been able to, I guess, show the country that she's good enough and she was good enough. And I know there was a few doubters a few years ago, but I'm just proud of her that she's been able to do that. And I'm glad that you guys got to enjoy some time with her as well. Yeah, no, we appreciate it. And obviously, before you go, you guys are already making plans for next year. You've already signed Hannah Keane to an extension for next year. Can you talk us through that? And then lastly, can you talk us through how you're feeling about, are you nervous about heading into your first final series into the Liberty A-League? Yeah, signing Hannah, and we've locked down a few other girls for a second year as well. I think we've got to about 12 or 13 players that we've secured on a second year deal, which is very important for us as a club, and that's something that we wanted to make sure that we did. Obviously, because we're building foundations for this year, we want to do that, and it might just be adding a few players here and there for next year. So Hannah was very important for me to lock that in also. And obviously there's a few other key players that have done that too. So, it's just about building and continuing to change the game here in our country. And obviously at the best time, with the World Cup around the corner. So definitely looking forward to continuing the hard work for these players, and definitely feel nervous in games. It doesn't matter what game of football. Like, I think we played Burundara in a Nike FC Cup last year with Calder. And we were playing, obviously, Burundara in the VPLW last year. I was still nervous in that game, and it doesn't really matter what game it is. As a coach, you're always nervous because you want to make sure that your players get through the game and enjoy the game of football and win the game. Obviously, because that's what it's about. But yeah, I'll be lying to you if I say that I wouldn't be nervous. But I'm definitely looking forward to it and excited because it's our first year, and I just want to make sure that our girls go out there and play as many games as football as they can. I guess I could definitely say to you, I'll be very nervous.
And I'd say, Mark, you're probably the only coach in the entirety of the Liberty A-League who would end an interview giving a reference to Burundara Eagles in the VPLW. So that's a credit to your level of research. Are you going to be sticking to your roots? Are you going to be paying attention to NPLW Victoria this season as well?
I definitely am. I still oversee the Calder program, so I'm still working with the coaches there to make sure that our pathway is still working, and I would definitely be at lots of NPL games throughout the season. I actually was supposed to be there on Friday night and couldn't get it. I was really disappointed to watch the first game against Box Hill, but I've got a big one this week against Canberra. Otherwise, I'd be at Keilor Park Reserve watching Calder against Alamein. So I think being at the Canberra game is probably more important. No, we love that, Mark. See, Lachie, what you don't understand is Mark didn't say Burundara. What he actually said was Forza NPL Victoria, but
that's
he didn't want to.
Well, that's all I tend to hear.
He didn't want to get political about it and make everyone feel upset. But that's what Mark has really said, that NPL Victoria is the home of football in Australia. Isn't that right, Mark? You got it. Don't worry about what Warren Moon says, mate. You've definitely got it. Fantastic. Mark, thank you for joining us, and good luck on the weekend and good luck for the finals. That has been me, Pokuah Frimpong, Lachie Flanagan, Oscar Rutherford here on Radio Dub. We'll be back next week for some more, talking about some more radio Liberty A-League action. Yeah. But stay tuned on FNR. Lions Den is on with Josh Parrish, and bye for now.